the only one of my 15 movies to win a Best Picture award, the Academy Award, and it should crowd into some of these lists. We've seen the last picture show in HUD to infinity, it seems to me. I once traveled for the United States government in the southern cone of South America, where I was not known as a writer, known only as a filmmaker. 32 showings of the last picture show. That was an experience I don't want to repeat. I'll give you just a little context. The last picture show was made in '71, in a time when Hollywood was regrouping. There had been a whole lot of big, expensive flops. They were looking for shorter, leaner, cheaper movies. There was a young generation of directors, Peter Bogdanovich, Francis Coppola, Martin Scorsese, William Friedkin, and others, who were coming along, and the culture was changing. And it was changed from a movie maker's point of view, principally by a cheap movie called Easy Rider, which was made for $1.1 million and made a lot of money, established Jack Nicholson as a big star, and he's still a big star, and he deserves all the kudos he's got. My novel was a little spiteful novel aimed at lancing some of the poisons of small-town life as I experienced them in the mid-'60s when some things went on in my family that were not happy things. And so I wrote the book in about 3 weeks, forgot about it, got a call in about 1970 from Peter Bogdanovich. Peter Bogdanovich had been a movie journalist. He'd been writing movie profiles for Esquire magazine. And he had a very gifted wife named Polly Platt, who they decided at some point they wanted to move to Hollywood and be movie makers. They were journalists in New York. Peter was an obsessive movie watcher, and he also had a bit of an oral obsession. I happen to know that when they moved out of their apartment on Central Park West, there were 6,000 fudgesicle sticks behind the couch. He has to be eating something. So he went to Hollywood. He worked for Roger Corman, the legendary Schlockmeister. Did a couple of strange movies, which he's now rather forget, and that can be accomplished. He was offered the last picture show. It is the opposite of the kind of material that Peter likes to think he's good at. He likes to think he's good at Lubitsch-like light comedy. He does not like bleak movies set on the Texas plain where everyone is unhappy. But he was broke, and he had made only one movie, a short movie called Snipers, about, don't call Targets, sorry, about the equipment shootings in the Texas Tower. And he was able to make that because Boris Karloff, the horror actor, owed Roger Corman 3 days' work. And Roger Corman told Peter that if he could take a movie, come up with a movie that he could have 3 days of Boris Karloff, he made it in 60 shot targets in 16 days. So along came the last picture show, and he was urged to do it by his wife, Polly. It's not his type of material. But he'd had 2 movie projects fall through, and he agreed to do it. Now, things were tight. Easy Rider was made by a little company called BBS, which was Bert Snyder, a member of the Paramount dynasty of Snyders, and Jack Nicholson and one other guy. And they were told by Paramount that they wanted exactly a 2-hour movie, no more. And when we made the movie and it was cut, it was 2 hours and 3 minutes, which didn't please Paramount. And there were fights and fights and fights. When you see the movie, you may see that there are really 3 different places where it could stop. It could stop when Sonny goes driving out of town after the death of his friend. It could stop when Cloris throws the coffee pot, or it could stop where it does stop. And we fought very, very hard to get the 3rd ending. I want to urge you, when you watch this film, don't move until the credits have run. The credits are important. The fact that there's a reprise at the end, it's a very bleak story. Without the reprise, without the lift of the credits, I think it probably wouldn't have been successful. Peter, due to his obsessive watching of movies, he'd watch 4 or 5 a day, had one true gift, and that was for casting. He knew every minor actor and what they had been in and da-da-da-da-da. And in fact, we had no stars in the Last Picture Show. None. They were not stars. Some of them have become stars since. Like Jeff Bridges. The Last Picture Show was his first movie. Cloris Leachman, Ellen Burstyn, Ben Johnson, who got to cap a fine career as a character actor by winning an Oscar. It made some stars. It started Sybil on her way. She didn't actually become that much of a movie star, but she became a very big TV star when Moonlighting was made. So Peter put together a remarkable cast. And another thing, I have some quarrels with the movie, but another thing that I think is quite remarkable is the scoring. It's a perfectly scored film. The music is perfectly chosen. And we fought many battles with puritanical film companies like Acuff Rose to get to keep the dirty words. Well, that's enough. You watch it. If I can stay awake, I'll come around and take a few questions or make a few comments after I've seen it.
Yeah! Woo! Woo!
Well, I think it's time that we all start. We're going to start off, as we normally do here on the Roadshow, with some vintage trailers, 35, and then we're going to go into the movie. I'm going to ask a couple of things. Remind you the bathrooms are inside the